Labor leader Anthony Albanese has attempted to simplify the debate over transgender women and girls in sport, saying girls should be able to play sport against girls. Matt Cunningham joins me now from Darwin. Matt, the opposition leader was being asked to comment on a plan to have non-gendered sporting events at Northern Territory schools.
That's right, Tom. This is all part of draft guidelines that have been put out for consultation by the Northern Territory government that we reported on yesterday. Now they included guidelines around gendered language and advice for teachers not to call students boys and girls, for example, and to use instead words like crew or team or class or everyone. And also this issue around non-gendered sporting days. The recommendation in these guidelines is that schools should avoid having those gendered sporting days, that basically girls and boys should compete in the same events. Anthony Albanese was not on board with this plan, it's fair to say. Here's what he had to say when he was asked about it today.
Girls should be able to play sport against girls and boys should be able to play sport against boys, and that should be covered, well, it is covered by the Sex Discrimination Act, and that sports currently are in control of this issue.
There's also been some significant backtracking by the Northern Territory government today. Tom, I asked the Education Minister, Lauren Moss, a series of questions about what's in these draft guidelines yesterday, and she said that basically they were being put out there to try and make schools more inclusive for LGBTIQ students. The Deputy Chief Minister, Nicole Manison, she held a press conference today. She was telling a very different story. Here's what she had to say.
Firstly, I want to be very clear here that we will not be banning the use of the word boys or girls in schools. Absolutely not. We will not be stopping having girls races or boys races or girls sports teams or boys sports teams. That is not what is going to happen.
Now, the government's saying, Tom, that the draft guidelines that our reports have been based on, these guidelines here are outdated. It says that they were from last year. I've asked the government to provide a copy of what their new guidelines are, but they've been unable to do so. So it's a bit of a work in progress, all of this, but the government's certainly backing away from what is contained in these guidelines, and that is those plans for those non-gendered sporting events and also for that non-gendered language for teachers in the classroom.
All right, it's the debate we didn't think we were having during before the campaign, having it now, but an interesting story nonetheless that's popped up in the Northern Territory. We'll follow that and see which way it goes.